let's set up our Ableton Live so we can have MIDI data come in, and we can set up a MIDI-related instrument that will play that MIDI data as sound, and then we can grab the Scale plugin and try to scale that MIDI data, which we're playing or which we record as it goes in through the instrument. So first, we're going to look at our normal Ableton setup. You have all your normal channels, MIDI 1, MIDI 2, Audio 3, Audio 4. This is what comes out when you open up a default session, usually. We're focusing on the MIDI channels. You can go and click on the instruments category. You might have different instruments than I have here. I'm going to now just drop into operator, and I'll grab a mallet, dynamic, metallic, again, any instrument will do, and just click on it, drag it into a MIDI instrument, and you see I'm just putting it in this gray area here. You put it really anywhere in the channel strip, let it go, and now that instrument is in that channel. We can now play MIDI into that channel. How do you configure that MIDI? So I will click on Live at the top of the screen and choose Preferences. You can also use Command, for this, for Macs. And that brings up the Preferences window. You show this as a screenshot. And for MIDI, you just want to make sure, here I'm using a PCR keyboard, that you have your track on for all of that specific MIDI device's ports. Very easy, and that's what the screenshot you sent me looked like. Then we click on the Audio tab here, and you want to make sure your audio is coming in and out of your main computer, right? Unless you have a USB sound card, which I do, but I'm just going to use my main input. Boom. Our MIDI's set up, our audio's set up. Now that means, and you see the red dot is highlighted here to record the hot dot is on this channel. Now when I play my keyboard, it plays dynamic metal, it plays this sound through the MIDI. So if you had a biodata system going through here, it would be playing in through here. You can see this MIDI channel is accepting MIDI from all of the different inputs, not just my PCR, any of those configured MIDI input sources, and then on all channels. So you might have MIDI coming from one of the 16 channels. You could choose it. All channels by the default is what it's set up to. Should work fine. Again, now we just have an instrument in our MIDI channel, and we can play it through a MIDI keyboard. The purpose of this discussion, though, is our MIDI effects, right? This MIDI effects category here. We want to scale our notes. So if you go to the scale, which you already showed this in one of your screenshots, now we're just going to grab a scale. I'm going to say C minor. Boom. Grab the C minor, and now I'm going to drag it down here into the bottom bar, right, like across the bottom here. I'm going to put it I'm going to put it before the instrument. Now this should make sense, left to right. Your MIDI data is coming in from the left. It's now going to hit the C minor scaling. Then it's going to hit the dynamic metal sound and make the sound come out. So MIDI in, processed through that scale, coming through the synthesizer, out through the master. And now when I play my notes, it's only in the C minor scale. So this is how you use the Scale plugin with MIDI and an audio channel in Ableton Live. Hopefully you'll be able to get this set up.